So I'm going to start today's class. We have actually enjoyed two different professors from Singapore, Professor Natalie Pan and also Professor Fernando Paragas, share Singapore and also some other issues in Philippines. So I think we already passed 6 weeks. So today we are going to do a very important checkup for your own research project. We are going to use like a 10 minutes presentation each group and then follow like a 5 minutes discussion. And I think all group, if you have any feedback, you can try to use the task, to show some of the immediate responses, or you can just give the voice, input later on after the presentation. Because the time is a little bit tight today, we know that from 2 to 4, we are going to have Sarah. Sarah is the professor from Thailand. Currently, she actually teaching more like the media innovation policy. So she is going to actually share some of the Thailand's new media ecology and development with us. So without further ado, we will start with Mimi today. So Mimi is going to present your research updates and tell us what you have done, what kind of data you have collected. Yeah, so if you are ready, you can start.
Okay, so I should share my screen first, right?
Yep.
Okay. So hi, it's Ming here, and today I would like to share what have I done recently, and this is my title: Decision Satisfaction in Recommender Systems, Genre Showcase in Netflix. So I decided to focus on Netflix, and this is the table. We'll go through it very quickly. That just I would like to start with a quick review that from the last presentation I showed you guys about how Netflix recommends us. Down here is just some of their functions. And my proposal at the time, I remember that teacher Trisha told me that it was too commercial, that I need to make the purpose a bit more academic, so that I changed my research questions into a more qualitative way. I try to do that, and so these are the two research questions I have for now. How does the recommender system increase decision satisfaction on an OTT platform like Netflix? And also, how does the recommender system influence the user's experience on Netflix? And so I'm here to share my results about the questionnaires I have done. And so I have 6 interviewees, and 1/3 of them is male, and also 1/3 of them is at the age between 46 to 55, and the other 4 is just my age. And I have the questions here to cater to the 2 research questions. So this is the first one. I have these questions, and the first one is about do you find the videos on the recommender system catering to your preference? And then the other 3 is more focusing on the genre hashtags, which I mentioned last time. So these questions, do you even notice the genre hashtags when selecting a video? Or also I have a question trying to know whether they understand the meaning of those hashtags. And also, in their opinion, how does the hashtags help them when selecting a video? And the next step, I also want to know whether the system itself have influence on their choosing of the videos. And so I have these questions. The first one is to tell which part of the recommender systems that they click on the most, and also how often do they use the search function of Netflix, which is the opposite to surfing and scrolling through the recommendation system. And also that I want to know whether their preference for videos change after using Netflix, to see whether their preference actually changed because of the recommendation system. And then lastly, if there is no recommender system, will they still use the platform Netflix? And so I have some of the answers here, and what I see is actually not very positive, like it's quite neutral. Like here, more people will just say that there's about 3 points out of 5 that they feel the recommender system is catering to their preference. And one of the reasons is because that they actually recommend a lot and in a lot of kinds of contents, and like with a lot of genres, and also like trending now, it is something that other people are interested in but maybe not the user. And also there is one problem that they tend to do account sharing. Like actually I interviewed 6 people, but 2 of them actually share their account with other people, so the recommender system is actually consuming like maybe 3 to 4 people's preferences, not just one person. And then moving on, I asked them about the hashtags, whether do they notice, and to my surprise, not actually a lot of people notice that. Like most of them say never and also sometimes, and no one really says always. And so I follow up to ask that how does it help if they don't even really notice. And some of them just say that this is the first time that he noticed that there's the hashtags after I asked him the question. And also that other interviewees, they say that it's they consider it as an index or a tool after they read the preview or the introduction and also the cast. So they tend to look more at the title and also the description of the video, but they don't really look at the genre hashtags that much. So one of the interviewees, what she do is that first she will first see what kind of video am I looking for today. Say if I am looking for something with a good mood, and then when I'm scrolling through, I see something with satisfying, then I will feel like maybe this is something I want to watch. And also another interviewee says that she will use the hashtag as like a warning sign because she cannot watch horror movies at all. So if she sees that there's a hashtag that sounds scary, she will skip the video. And also, one of the interviewee, he used Netflix only on TV. Like it can also be connected to TV, but he does not use like notebook or phone to watch Netflix. So the hashtags are not shown on the version of TV. And so after these questions, I found out that genre hashtag is not the same as like the title and the description, the cast or the preview. It's more like a checking tool that after the user already has an opinion toward the video, and then they will check the hashtag to see whether it is the same as what they think. So it's more like a checking tool, but people seldom use that as the index or the sign to show that this is the thing that they want to watch. So they usually have something they want to watch in their mind first, and then they check the genre hashtags. And so this is another questions that I want to check whether they know about the meaning of the hashtags. But I found this one as a failure because when I'm asking the questions, I only provide the pictures, but I forgot to put the title, the description of the video as well. So only one person got it right, which is Emily in Paris, and the other people, they were more confused with these questions. And moving on, I also asked them about which part of the system do they click on the most, and I found out that the personalized video ranker is with actually 5 points. 5 people selected that. The last one is also should be on the PVR section too, and that I found out that even though Netflix recommend you the things that other people are watching, and also a lot of genre that based on what do you like to watch. And I think I found out that actually the genres that the user already likes is still the most important, even though Netflix does provide a lot of other contents, but personal preferable genres is still the most noticeable and the most thing that the user will look up. And to my surprise, this one, how often do you search on Netflix for a specific video? That more people, like 3 of them says often. And this has something to do with their time of using Netflix. Like here I have 3 interviewees says almost the same thing, that he or she only watch Netflix once or twice a month. And it is when they go on to Netflix, they already have something that they want to watch, and so they just search it like straightly. And they before that they were recommended by friends or maybe on social media. So that I realized the recommender system is actually out of Netflix, that it is not only Netflix itself that can recommend the user things to watch, but also friends, social media, like things around them, but not on the system. So the recommender system is actually a more robotic way of recommending a video. And moving on, that this one, whether does your preference for videos change after using Netflix? And here actually like 5 of them says no, only 1 says yes. And those who says no says that they're not they rather don't use it often, or mostly they're not interested in what other people are interested in, because they have like different interested genres. However, their preference did not change but expand. Like here it says that I still watch the genre I like, but I watch more documentaries after using Netflix. Like a lot of content on Netflix is actually documentaries, also the originals that they made. And also that here I found something interesting is that one of my interviewees, that she found a French series that she accidentally liked. She didn't know that she had never watched any French series before, but she found something that she liked, and it is made in France. And also she didn't like Korean dramas at all before. However, she was like pushed by the recommender system, and also on Instagram she says that just every time she just sees the ads and then she feel annoyed, so she click onto it and then she finished the whole thing. So I think that their preference actually expanded but not changed by Netflix. Mm-hmm. So the last questions, I think that like here most of them say that they will still use Netflix even if there is no recommender system. However, that the recommender system help them to be more convenient when they are on Netflix. And if without that, they will still use it, but they will only use it when they want to watch something already, which is similar to when they want to use the searching function. So I realized that the recommender system actually doesn't have that much of an important impact on their using. That it's just providing them as a convenient way of surfing on Netflix. I would like to say something that they like. More of them talked about the content that Netflix provide originally. They say that like a part of the reason why they use Netflix is because of their original content. So here are some conclusions, is that the recommenders out of the system actually increase the chance of searching on Netflix. They find something outside of Netflix and then they come in and then just search for it. But then the recommender system in Netflix increase the chances of them to surf on Netflix, just to scroll through and see if there's anything that they like. And the decision satisfaction increase or happens when they surf and they find something accidentally that is preferable, like the French series and the Korean drama. And then the preference is actually expanded and increases the decision satisfaction. And genre hashtag does not help the expanding, but it just serves as a checking tool or even a warning sign to avoid some of the videos. And lastly, what the recommender system provides is convenience, but only to the users who have no goals when entering Netflix. And more of the times, the user already has something that he or she wants to watch. And with a little bit of time, he or she will not surf on the Netflix so much. So I think rather to call it a recommender system, I think it's more like a genre organizer system that they organize all the genres and so that users can be convenient to see if there's anything that they like. But the pushing, like the recommending itself, does not really have a lot of control on the users using on Netflix. And that's about it. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Okay. So Mimi, because okay, later on when each group present, and because when Andrew remind you of the time, we cannot really notice. So maybe you can just open the, the sound here, so we can hear the, alert. So it means that 10 minutes up. So you need to quickly wrap up 30 seconds. So let's do that later for the three groups. Okay, Leon, I would say you have collected 5 people, right? 5 people,
6 people.
6 people, and it's interviews,
Yes.
right? Okay. So what I'm saying is that it's good that you have the qualitative ways to approach this, and you try to make sense out of the data. But there are a few things that I would like you to sort of clarify, or I think most importantly first is how your past literature review, you have a model, right? And that kind of model actually give you some concepts, and these concepts should associate with some questions. But in the question list or later on your analysis, you do not really go up to that concept. So I think that's something you need to relook at your data set, whether you haven't asked the questions, or you should do something like a follow-ups to check. Because you only have 6 people, you still can do follow-up questions if you haven't done that. If
So
they
maybe
exist your data, you can, yeah, definitely can sort of relooking at the concept and whether they actually can be analyzed in that way. Okay, that's the first one, the link to your literature review. And the 2 research questions that you provide, you need to think about whether you should ask the experiences first and satisfaction later. Yeah, because how they use and then their experiences actually is more like describing about, the different features they responding to, including the genre, hashtag and all that. But what kind of things should be applied to in response to the satisfaction part? So now I hear a lot of things from your sort of analysis findings and the conclusions, but the systematic way to looking at which questions argues that you have respond to and what kind of things should be organized under that section, it's not clear. Okay, so you need to do that, and including the methodology, you need to explain how do you recruit those people, and if there's 6 only, why they actually fit the user criteria that you have set. For instance, age group, I don't know, maybe age is important, but are they users? So these kind of things you need to specify in the methodology part. I think it's very interesting that you mentioned it's not just existing within the system itself, but it's outside of the system. So you can sort of making sense of the whole, the user patterns, how actually they use it, and then and what kind of satisfactions actually by using the system recommendation particularly, because you have expanded to the whole thing. They may help you to position how important the recommendation system, but your focus should be still stay in the recommendation system because that's your topic. Yeah, I think the general responses to your reports today, and also you are doing the qualitative research, right? you only have 6 people. So the percentage or the so-called, you will have some items selections that frequent, very likely, that kind of quantitative survey ways of presentation are not that important because you are not doing a survey or doing a quantitative. So you need to looking at what actually the users or the respondents respond to your questions. And so there are some parts you are telling us about their answers, open-ended answers, or some insights. I think these should be, you should put more emphasis on that. Okay? All right. Yeah, because of time, we will quickly go to the second group.
Thank
Yep.
you.
If you have questions, you can ask me later on.
Okay.
And each group, if you want to respond to the first presentation, you can leave your maybe test messages on the screen so Mimi can get your feedback. Okay, so Esther and Rona, you can start when you are ready.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So you can see it right in full screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, I will start my presentation now. So I would like to start that by introducing the topic of our study. So previously our topic was focused on how unique affordance of Clubhouse, like real-time voice-based, mediates the parasocial experience. Then we realized that Clubhouse is a new social media platform and just haven't had many studies about it. So we wanted to be more open-minded and set fewer limitations in our study. Therefore, we changed our topic to an exploratory study of parasocial experiences and affordances on Clubhouse. And we are hoping to discover more possibilities in this study. So for the last presentation, we proposed our research in quantitative method, but after changing the topic, we decided to conduct our research in qualitative method because we think that it's more suitable for an exploratory research. And we selected the semi-structured in-depth interviews to collect our data. So through the in-depth interview, we are able to gain further insights into Clubhouse users that perceive affordance and parasocial experience. For our research questions is above here. First one is what are the affordances of Clubhouse function and designs do users perceive? And second one is can the affordances of Clubhouse generate PSI and PSR? The third one is what are the experiences of PSI and PSR on Clubhouse like? So in the methodology part, like I mentioned before, we used the semi-structured in-depth interviews to collect our data, and we recruited 10 Taiwanese Clubhouse users as interviewees by using snowball sampling. So the interviews were held individually in May, and the participants had filled up the consent form before the interview to ensure their privacy. And for the interview questions they were divided into 3 parts. First one is general usage information. Second one is perceived affordances, and third one is parasocial experiences. So for the general usage information included the basic background, usage behavior, and habits of the Clubhouse users. Subsequently, based on the interviewees' behavior and habits information, we query the affordances that they perceive while using Clubhouse. And for the last part of the interview, the parasocial experience of Clubhouse users, we expected to understand how Clubhouse users how Clubhouse can generate the PSR and PSI experience. Just to mention that the researchers in parasocial were generally conducted in quantitative methods, but the studies about Clubhouse are still in an exploratory stage. So we designed the interview questions for the last part according to parasocial interaction scale, which is the PSI scale, and with the newer measure, the EPSI scale, experience of parasocial interaction scale. So we designed the interview questions according to this scale. And these are the interview questions we designed. And I think there's a total of 26 questions were designed. This is the second part for the affordances questions. And for the last part, parasocial experience. So PSI questions have 2, and the PSR questions are here. So next, I will have Lorna to share about our findings from the interview data.
And I'll just use your slides.
Okay.
So our first research question is, what affordances of the clubhouse function and design do users perceive? We answer our research question by separate them into 4 sections by the function and design of the clubhouse. First is voice as the medium form, and then is synchronicity and rooms and the raise hand button, because these 4 are the major functions that are unique to Clubhouse and is also mentioned by our interviewees. Okay, next slide. Because we find a lot of details, but here in the presentation, due to time limitation, I'll just mention several of the most important ones. And the first affordance of voice as the media form is convenience. Our interviewee mentions that because you do not have to show your face on camera, so you don't need to worry about their appearance and physical surrounding. So it's very easy and to use Clubhouse. And then users feel freer and more comfortable because they do not have to show their faces. Using voice is a comfortable form for them, so they can speak more naturally and share more personal stuff. And this is especially something very special is that our user observes that it does not just limit to the listener's side, but also to the host. So the host also speaks more naturally as well. And as for the media richness, they think voice is richer than text. And however, although it is less richer than audiovisual format, but they feel that voice makes them feel more comfortable. And then the last one is voice allows multitasking. They do not have to stare on the screen all the time. Next slide. And then synchronicity offers simultaneous conversation, which is said to imitate real-life conversation. It makes the speaker more authentic, and our interviews that it's very different from watching YouTube videos that are pre-recorded. And then also they think that because of synchronicity, they find speakers, the host is more trustworthy because they believe that without editing, they show their real side. And then synchronicity also decrease psychological distance and increase intimacy. And one very interesting thing is that synchronicity is often discussed with the voice form. Because although some things that, that's okay, I'll just keep talking. Because some things that voice is not very special, it's just like podcast, but when in combination with synchronicity, it highly increases the intimacy. And then rooms can increase the social presence and also make them feel that a sense of community and belonging as well as companionship. And also, a lot of interviewees says that they think that there is equality between users. Anyone who enters the room, regardless of their social status or role, they feel like they are equal. And then the raise hand button increase interactivity. Although a lot of people do not really use this button, just perceiving that they have the chance to interact makes this affordance evident. Next thing. And the second question is, can the affordance of Clubhouse generate PSI and PSR? We separate them into 4 titles. We want to see whether the affordance we mentioned actually overlaps or has some association with the factors of PSI and PSR. The factors are perceived authenticity, attraction, interpersonal distance, and user context. Okay, next slide. The affordance and the perceived authenticity, because the perceived authenticity can be separated into realism, credibility, and relatability. Synchronicity increase realism, and then voice and synchronicity helps with credibility, and voice and rooms is associated with relatability. Due to time reason, I cannot go into detail. And the affordance and attraction are separated into physical attraction and social attraction. Although there is no physical attraction because it's based on voice, however, the voice communication, the listeners can actually perceive host talent, and if they have nice voice, they are attracted to them. And then social attraction is it's a reduced on uncertainty reduction because of voice and synchronicity, increase authenticity and relatability, and they can know more about the host. Okay. The next one is avoidance and perceived interpersonal distance. Interpersonal distance is governed by social immediacy and intimacy, and synchronicity can increase immediacy, and all of the functions can increase intimacy. And then finally, we can, and the room offers the feeling of co-listening, which is related to. The room offers the feeling of co-present, which is correlated to co-listening in the user context. And then rooms also offer a sense of community, which also triggers the subsequent discussion regarding to the celebrity host.
Okay, so for the third research question, that what are the experiences of PSI and PSR and Clubhouse likes? Just to sum up, that we found that there is weak in parasocial interaction but strong in PSR. So most of the interviewees mentioned that because of they didn't raise hands, so they could not have the interaction with the host. Yeah, or they would like to speak up so that their interaction can have, but they didn't do. And sometimes that they mention the host can take the initiative to notice them when they first enter the room. But the interesting part is from the literature review, we know that PSI will lead to PSR theoretically, but in this case, we found that there are weak experiences of PSI, but a strong experience of PSR. So basically, the PSR experiences have 2 parts. The first is that have one interviewee that she recognized the host, and I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost. She did not know the host before she entered Clubhouse, but after that, she engaged into the room that hosted by the host, and from strangers, they become bosom friends, and they really meet in real life. And the last part is most of the interviewees follow the celebrities that they were familiar with on Clubhouse. So they had been following other stars at other social media platforms, but since they see that the celebrities they followed have hosting a room on Clubhouse, and they enter the room and follow them immediately. So actually, there's more findings in the interview data, but because of the time limitation, the thing we share today is one of the examples that can be representative among all of the data. So we will have the final discussion in our term paper. I think that's a wrap of our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, I think you have very in-depth analysis and in response to the concept that PSI, PSR, and some other related like psychotechnic, technicity or what. So I think you have done a lot of, I think, good job. Just something I would like to remind you, okay? The first one is that when you recruit, we did mention about because the focus of your study will be parasocial, but not all the clubhouse content actually would be suitable for this parasocial. So you will have to explain, those users you recruit, actually what kind of content or what kind of maybe celebrity host clubhouse content they have experiences. So you need to sort of give more explanation about the 10 people and how your method recruitment actually will be suitable for this topic. That'll be something I would like to remind you. And then in the research questions, I think you can remove the RQ2 because you won't be able actually, it's not appropriate to ask a yes/no question. Yeah. Can the affordances of the clubhouse generate PSI and PSR? You can have say how or or something in sort of integrate the RQ2 and 3 together. You can say, because you don't need to say yes, they do, and then how, because that another way how you propose any kind of research question. So you will think about how to organize the two. And also I would like to, you will need to actually specify what kind of affordances, because affordances is a very, I would say, abstract concept, right? So affordances, what are the things you are looking at? Are the affordances of the clubhouse, and then how they lead to the PSR or PSI, and then they can be more systematic analysis in that way. And then I also want to ask you, affordances seems more artifacts related factors. How about content? Is that included or not included? Then you can think about that questions. Yeah. That's also related to why you examine parasocial, because some content or some host in that context, in that rooms, will be more related to parasocial, but not all of them. Yes. So try to make that clear. Yeah.
Our interview response that they think content matters, but they think it's because of the affordance that allow those content to happen. So we do not really separate them.
So just put it in the very beginning when you talk about affordances. You need to sort of position what they are and what kind of aspects you are talking about. And then you can have a better analysis to under that framework. That's what I'm saying. And then I think your analysis, you're talking about rules, what kind of rules. You said some of them, they did not experience interaction because they don't really talk. They are lookers. They sort of just being there. So these kind of participatory levels actually, or rules of the speakers, are they participants? Are they, do they raise hands? These kind of things will also influence in their PSI and PSR. And I don't know whether your question answers actually have them included. So maybe you can look at your data set. And additional question is, when you set the PSI scale and then you adapt the so-called quantitative measurements into your interview questions, usually in the interview research question, your interview questions, you don't need to be less specific. They won't be the part actually will be appear in your paper, but you can talk about how you develop.
Okay.
Okay. So I think you have used a lot of concepts to structure, and you will have to create a table actually to indicate what other concepts belonging to what, they have concepts, subconcept, codes and subcodes, and their definition and their relationship. If you give that in the methodology part, then your analysis will be structured in that way that people can follow easily when they read. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I think it's quite very good try, in the sort of checking your preliminary analysis. So now just try to be even more structured and let people understand your findings. Okay. Yeah, so if you have a question, you can ask. I think the time is 1:50. All right. So we can, so Lucas and Melissa, would you like to present this week? Or you would like to actually have it next week? Because Ari, definitely I'm going to move him to the next week. So you are sort of at the borderline. So would you like to present?
We can present, I think.
Okay.
I'm fine.
You
If
can go
Melissa's
ahead.
fine.
Yes, yes.
Okay, can you see my screen already?
And Andrew, probably you can test Sarah, and I know will be a little bit delay or email. Okay, thanks. Okay, Lucas and Melissa, you can start. It's not full
Yes.
screen. You can try to switch to full screen.
Okay. Now it's full screen. So I will just do the beginning in one way, so we don't need to switch and save some time. So welcome to our presentation. This is on the quality of distance learning during COVID-19, as already presented. As last time, a short look at our research questions and also on our literature. So these were our initial research question. How does distance learning reshape the interaction with lecture content? How does distance learning change the way we interact with classmates and professors? And also, how can a high level of teaching quality can be achieved in a distance learning environment? And we have a focus on Germany and France. Last time I presented you a couple of papers. As we received our feedback, we focus mainly on this paper and this theory. So we have the main parts of relationships, pedagogy, and technology, and also an important part of self-directed learning. And yeah, this is the main theory based our paper on, which was supplemented by also this theory on distance learning, which is rather technical. So a lot of different systems and programs were given, as you can see here, CMS, blogs, wikis. So we supplemented the information from this theory into the other one for our research questions. And this is already our step to our methodology. So this was our slide from our last presentation. We changed it a bit. So I will just present you now how we decided to design our methodology. And we went for a qualitative content analysis using semi-structured interviews. Now I got kicked out of the presentation because of Teams. Let's go back.
We still can hear you and see your slides, I think.
Yeah, somehow Teams is shifting itself into the foreground because somebody turned on the video. But let's continue like this. Oops. Yeah, we choose deductive content category application according to Meiring. If that's if you know about this, you will take a research question and you check the literature for theories and concepts which are already available and which you want to test or analyze. And this is what we have done with the learning accelerator theory I just presented you. And then we created a coding agenda and analyzed our interviews which we conducted according to this coding agenda. An example looks like this, how we designed it. So we have the category, for example, the technological factors. We structured it also into subcategories, which you can see here. We defined them, and then we also picked some examples from the interviews which answer exactly this area, which you can find in the middle. And we defined some coding rules if the subcategories and the categories were very similar to differentiate them, or if it's not completely clear what is good, what is bad. So we have a steady and continuous analysis if we look at the interviews. And on the right-hand side, you will find our questions, which targeted this category, which we used in our interviews. Okay, then the interviews themselves, a very short overlook. We made so far 12 interviews, 5 in Germany, 7 in France. The average age was 22 years old. The interviews had a duration of about 15 to 30 minutes. And most students, as a baseline, were experienced with computers and also with video conferencing. So we had nobody who was very unexperienced in that. And the students were management students from multiple institutions in both Germany and France, and they were recruited from our personal environment. And these were the categories we walked through during the interviews. So we started with the technical basement, then pedagogy, and then relationships. And this is also how I will present you now the analysis, and not regarding the research question, because that's easier to present. In our paper, of course, we will structure it according to the research questions. Yes, so let's move over to the data analysis. So technology. I will present technology. Melissa will present the other ones. Regarding technology, first we have the important part of accessibility. We have seen that all students have sufficient electronic devices and equipment. That means everyone had a laptop, microphone, headset, printer if necessary at home. So nobody was only dependent on their smartphone, for example. The internet connection is still a big problem in Germany because all the students in Germany actually reported issues with the internet, but only a few in France. And all students have a proper learning space, learning location where they can learn and study in peace. So there's no problem of having to sit in a room with 5 siblings in a very confined apartment. Then regarding the ease and support, most institutions provide technical support if you have an issue, but actually most of the students don't know where to find this information and how to get it. So mostly it's hidden, some website, hotline, email, whatever. And regarding the match of the lectures, in a technical view, most teachers have good technical skills to use various functions and methods, especially interactive functions within the programs, so within Zoom and Teams. They are able to use quizzes and similar. So we have the foundation here for a good teaching and learning experience. We have the foundation here. And it highly depends on the institution and the provided tools. So for example, here at NCCU, we can see that Andrew is here and supports us, but not at every institution this is the case, that there is some help. And regarding the organization, most students are experienced with online conferencing, as I said, and it's easy for them to navigate through all the tools and find the learning materials. Or if they weren't that experienced, they were able to learn this quickly. But there were also some drawbacks, and for our conclusion, I will just mention them. So universities should invest more into technical support, especially for professors, as this is actually the foundation for Zoom and Teams classes. Universities should streamline their tools to provide an easy to navigate environment with standard procedures. That means all class materials at one location. For example, I think here at NCCU I have 4 different Moodles or 3, and I don't know, Google Classroom also. So sometimes you spend a lot of time to find the proper lecture materials. And then support availability needs to be communicated, especially to students in such a case like the pandemic. So students are able to find the information, and countries with bad internet connections need to establish alternatives. So for example, backup recordings, because in Germany we don't record lectures, so we need to be live there. But if our internet connection is bad, we miss the whole lecture. And let's move over for Melissa to pedagogy.
So yes, for pedagogy, we decided to divide the questions into 3 sections: rigorous content, active learning, and mastery learning. So rigorous content was about knowing if teachers were using, external materials like PowerPoint and survey, and it came that in both countries they use PowerPoint. And then we worked on the active learning, where it's more about how the teacher make the content engaging, and the mastery learning is their assessment or activities online and feedback. So globally, the content was good, like a teacher providing good content, which was very well organized, and also I kind of adapt to the online way. For the active learning, we just noticed that French students have a more passive learning, unlike German students. By that, we mean that it's more the teacher who speak and the students who learn or hear the content, where unlike German, just participates more. And for the mastery learning, both countries use activities online, but French teacher make assessments during the class instead of German ones. And the interview provides us that assessments help teacher to know where the class is instead, about the learning. Like, does do students understand the content he make? And it's kind of helpful. Also, we noticed that French teacher give reports after class. So for the conclusion, we think that university should maximize the use of external tools, because it's really helpful for the understanding of the content, and also it helps students to interact with. Also, French universities should use the German's way, like participations and personalized questions. And also, German maybe should try to organize online assessments so that students get feedback, and it's promote active learning. And for the social relationships, we divided into parts: connections and personalization. So connection is the connection with the teachers, and also what kind of connections students have with their peers. And personalizations, it's more about does the teacher try to does the teacher is available during class or just offline. And in both countries, the students have difficulties relating to the classmates. Like if you don't know your classmates, it's hard to make connection with them. But they try to have conversation on a social group class. So yes, they were also less implicated during the class, and they were a high tendency in both countries with the lack of nonverbal. And students said that nonverbal communication was very important online, because it helps with the interaction, and it brings more life, during the class. And also for the connection and personally, yes, for the connections, teachers try to dispatch classmates to encourage the interaction. And also the interaction is more important in German, because they use more group class and camera. And finally, about the personalizations, it's French teacher helps more their students with the self-taught and how to get disciplined with the materials, unlike German one. But generally, teachers are available online, and they encourage their students. So we think that university should organize more online gathering where students can get to know each other, and also teacher should yes try to encourage these students to interact and have connection with each other online and offline. And finally, universities should help students to make the transition from face-to-face to distance learning by giving tips and also offer individual coaching from time to time to see how the student is going, because yes, a French student gave her recommendations, like she was she was attending a class, and the professor just present her to the rest of the class, so that she has been in relation directly, and she said that it was very helpful for the connection. Yes, that's all. If you have any question.
So you finished the presentation?
Yes, we are done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I think it's from the very beginning to how you develop your coding, and also how you recruit your interviewees. These are very clear, and I think it's a good job that you also have the table to indicate, and you guys really listening to follow the structures. That the first time I recommend to you, like you use the technology, pedagogy, and the social relations. I think these are the good things. But in the so-called data, in terms of how you structure your data, I will ask you to look back to your research questions, because the way how you phrase your research questions, you say how does distance learning reshape the interaction with the content, and the distance learning, how they change the way we interact with classmates and professors, and the higher levels of quality, how to achieve. So when you want to answer the three questions and the way how you structure your analysis today, then you need to think about how to match them together. I think the easier way will be, if you have such a structure to looking at your data, then you need to change your RQs, because then there will be a matching. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because
Yes, to
now,
structure
yeah,
the data analysis according to the research questions.
yes,
More.
either you
Yeah.
use remain your RQs, but I think there will be a bigger job for you to restructure everything, or you change your RQs and looking at how you structure and analyze your data right now, and what kind of RQs actually reflecting the data and the way how you present them. You know what I'm saying? Because right now you talk
Yes.
about technologies, components, how they shaping the so-called distance learning in the two countries, and then the pedagogies in two countries, and then finally will be the social relations. So then the three questions are very clear, because the data also being in that forms.
Yeah, this is, I think this was easier to present in our written paper. We would structure it according to the research questions. So we would mix the different technology, pedagogy, and so on according to answer the stated research questions.
Yes, so I think my suggestion for you is to change your RQs, because now you have a different ways of structures in terms of your data analysis. So think about how to put them, more in sync with each other. And then I think it's very interesting to looking at the differences. I mean, differences in the two countries. So you can think about whether you will make a table later on to do like a comparison summary. That would be interesting to look at. And finally, I think how to improve the quality. It could be put in the recommendations instead of, unless you do ask them how to improve. But that part also, not necessarily to be the data analysis, but how you actually recommend, and based on that to improve. So thinking about how you present your data and how the data in relation to your RQs, then everything will be very systematic. right now I can follow you very well, but I think that's the important part that you can even do a better job. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think you have made great effort and do good interviews, and then so I will look forward for your final paper and final presentation. Good job. Okay. Okay, I have to quickly wrap up today's our first class. I mean first hour, and then we will switch to the second important things, the Asper talk. Okay, let's look at we still have a few weeks, right? Okay, and in a few weeks, what we are going to do.
I didn't present.
Yeah, I know, Ari, because we don't have time. So I'm going to arrange you to next week. Is that okay? You don't mind
Okay,
to go
that's
next
fine.
week? Okay. So next 2 hours, we are going to have the talk offered by Sarah Oranop, and then she's from the Thailand's university. And next week, we are going to have a mobile impact section, and I will be actually the lecturer, and then Ari will present at that week. So finally, the final presentation will be the June 21st. So we are going to have the presentation plus the paper print, not print version, but you have to upload it the e-copy to our e-Moodles. Okay. So in the week 17th, it's supposed to be the Dragon Boat Festival holiday. We don't have class, but I totally will welcome you to make some appointment with me online, and we can further discuss if you need some clarification for the before the presentation or anything you will need my help. Okay. So now
Yeah.
I think we can have maybe 10 minutes break, and then I will invite Professor Sarah to sort of set up and then prepare for the guest talk. Hi everyone. I think we have a very mixed and a very interesting group today to actually listen to our guest speaker, Professor, Dr. Shara Oranop. Is that the pronunciation correct? Yeah, for your last name. Yeah, because I have known Sarah a long time ago when I actually taught at the Nanyang Technological University, and she also interested in new media, and then we also co-author one paper about Thailand's the multi-screen policies and developments. So today she's going to give our interesting and important talk about the development of the new media ecologies in Thailand. And he currently is the assistant professor of the communication arts. Oh no, communication arts, that one is not your current one. It's your graduate school, right? Your graduate degree is from Chulalongkorn University. Yeah. You got your PhD there. And now you're an assistant professor and working at the graduate school of the communication arts and management innovation, NIDA, Thailand. And the last time when I gave the talk to your class is a doctoral programs course. So I think without further ado, we'll just let Sarah to start your sharing today. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Professor Trisha, for a kind introduction of my bio. And I'm Sarah, so you may call me in short Sarah. So, and also today I'm very honored to be a guest speaker on this topic. And share what I know with you, and will be discussed later or have Q&A session after the talk. Yes, and I've heard that there are many students from many countries. So could you please kindly just introduce your name and your country of origin, something like that? One by one, anyone can start first to get to know each other.
Shine.
Perhaps I can start.
Yes, thank you.
Hi. Hello. My name is Ming Ming, and I'm from Taiwan.
Min, Taiwan.
And yeah, I wanted to exchange to Thailand, but now I
Wow.
can't. Yeah. Hello.
สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ
Okay, let's quickly go through. Maybe who want to be the next? Yeah, how about start from our class, and then we will spend to other students.
So,
Lucas.
hi, I'm Lucas. I'm from Germany. Good
You're
morning.
from Germany.
Okay.
Which city from Germany you are from?
It's between Frankfurt and Cologne
Wow, great.
at the Rhine River, where all the old castles are. If you've ever been to Germany. Okay.
Yeah, I've been in Hamburg for about a while for studying my PhD. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Lucas.
And Esther, I saw your video just now.
Yeah, hi, I'm Esther and I'm from Malaysia. Yeah, very near to Thailand.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've never been to Thailand before.
Okay, one time. So sometime next year.
Okay, hope so.
All right, and then who else?
Hello, I'm Melissa and I'm from France.
You're from France.
This is Melissa and then Rona.
I'm Lorna. I'm from Taiwan.
Thank you.
Okay. And Ari, you are the last one.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Ari. I'm from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
You changed your hairstyle.
Well, yes, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you. And then maybe followed by the Asian New Media class. Our 4 PhD students. Can you start? Wu Huang.
Hi, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here. I'm Wu Huang. Hello. I've
Hello.
been Thailand for 4 times.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
So you can know more about Thai media.
Maybe.
You can share later with us.
Okay. Zhao Jing. Zhao Jing, are you there? Yeah.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Because I use 2 devices at the same time. I can't hear the voice from my computer, so I just open another app in my smartphone. So maybe there is something wrong. Okay. I'm Zhao Jing, and I have been to Thailand several times and like the Thailand food, and I love Bangkok very much. I'm looking forward to your speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Stone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Stone. I'm from Taiwan. I have been Thailand 3 times. I like people very tenderly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And who else? Pumpkin. Okay. So maybe we have the Philippine students who join us today. John, Rachel, and Beckham. You want to say hello to Sarah?
Hello everyone. Hello. I am Makon Raman from the Philippines. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, nice to see you here.
Hello. Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm also from the Philippines, and I also want to say that I was just in Thailand in 2019, right before the pandemic.
Oh, great. So good luck for you that you come before the COVID-19.
Nice. Okay, I think we still have a couple of students.
Want
to say hi? Anyone else? If not, then we are going to start the talk. Okay. So
maybe
perhaps
you can type in the chat for your name and your country to each other. So let me start with sharing the PowerPoint. Okay, right now you see the screen, right?
Can you put it? Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Okay. Okay. Did you see it clear?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Today's topic that Professor Trisha wanted me to share with you is about the development of Thailand's new media ecosystem. So let's start with when we talk about media or either tradition or new media ecosystem, we have to ask about where the people consume media. So I will start with the media consumption and advertising expenses in media in Thailand right now. And also we will follow with audio, or just focus on audiovisual service landscape. That kind of mixture of the traditional media like digital TV and also the OTT or over-the-top TV, right? Netflix or Facebook or YouTube. And I will talk to you through our research from that I conducted with Professor Trisha on Multiscreen TV service. And one of mine research about the OTT TV with my professor as well. And we will discuss more about regulatory challenges between the traditional one and the new one. How can we regulate it properly? And the last one, I will talk about the new media cultural impact in Thailand, especially during the COVID-19. We will face a lot of problems about fake news and hate speech. So at the end of the session of the talk, I would like you to share with me when you listen about the Thailand, can you compare with your country, with your own country? Which one is similar and which one is different? So during the talk, would you kindly short note on the topic or the point that it's different and it's similar to talk with together in the class after the talk. And also during the session, if you have any question, please put into the chat box. I will answer to you later. And some of the slides will be in Thai, so sorry for that. And I will translate to you into English. Okay, let's start with media consumption and advertising expense right now in Thailand. If you see on this slide, you see that television in 2020 and 2021 is have a change only 4%. It's not much because previously TV is the major media for Thai people, but right now they are decreasing consumption in TV from TV set. So that's why the advertising expense is less than before. And for the cable, satellite, radio, newspaper, and magazine, there's a sharp decrease in advertising expense in these medias. On the contrary, for digital media, I will present you later. They are highly increasing in this digital platform for the advertising expense. As for, this statistic, it's talk about the only digital TV. It's a free TV service in Thailand through the digital broadcasting infrastructure. There are a variety of channels in digital TV in Thailand, but there are just only the audience size in high definition channels. But for the news channel and television for children, there are decreasing audience size. when comparing between the 2019 and 2020. And also for the advertising expense, the people who are not the channel that about the children and news, they have decreasing the advertising expense when we compare from last year. So that the point is that not all of the channels in digital TV are survived, just only for the high definition channels, but for news channel and children channels that are going to die, and some of them are opt off from the system as well. They end their business. And for digital platform, you see that the expansion in advertising are very high in Facebook, YouTube, and all social media and creativity like clip video or searching. So Facebook and YouTube are the major discipline in Thailand right now, because many people are in this platform. I'm not sure it is like Taiwan or not. And similar to the survey of the digital media consumption in Thailand last year, the NIDA found that the Facebook, YouTube, Line, and Instagram are the most popular social media in Thailand. Facebook are about 98.2% and YouTube 97.5%. And Line is very popular in Thailand, especially the people, elderly people. The elderly people struggle with Facebook and YouTube because it's quite complicated, but Line is very easy for them, so they choose to use Line. And so you can see that the Line is a chat and call, very popular in Thailand, not WhatsApp. Yes. And also the direct message and Facebook Messenger is followed by them. And for internet consumption in Thailand, there are a trend of the increasing trend since 8 years ago. So right now, the average minutes that we spend on internet is about 11 hours and 25 minutes. So it might be half of the day, nearly half of the day that we are spending our time on internet for Thai people. So it's quite high, I think, for me. And for if you look at into the generation, you can see that generation Y and generation Z more consume internet than baby boomer and Gen X. And for online activities of Thai people, top 10 online activities of Thai people, the first one is social media use. And the second one is watching TV, video, and music through online, not TV set or radio reception at all. And the third one is searching information. They use online for searching information. And for the top 5 online activities of Thai people that have a big jump from last year due to the COVID-19, the first go through e-learning, because everyone have to work from home and learn from home. So e-learning are the activities that is the highest jump from last year. And chat, online call are at the second rank, and software download, food delivery, and online game. Yeah, so these kind of activities, especially during COVID-19, COVID-19 is it's similar to a booster or the catalyze the digital activities on digital media. So it's not an optional for digital media at all. So it's a must for all of them to use digital media wisely for their life and for their learning as well. And for audiovisual service landscape in Thailand, I will talk about the two paper. The first one is the paper that I worked with Trisha in 2014 and got published in 2016. At that time, it's quite different scenario from today. So maybe I will compare with another paper that more recently on 2020 about the TV service in Thailand as well. So you can browse this paper on the database, the responding to media convergence regulating multi-screen TV in Thailand. Key point from this paper. So maybe Professor Trisha can add it for if I cannot cover it all. The keyword is technological convergence and rapid adoption of smartphone and tablets are boosting or pushing the multi-screen TV service at that time. Because people use not only a TV set at all, they use smartphone and tablet to consume the audio-visual media service. So they're boosting the service provider to give them more services on every devices. And at that time, we have the Thailand regulatory body, but that are related to the technological convergence. They call themselves Convergence Regulatory. The name is NBTC, or National Broadcasting and Telecommunication Commission. It established in 2011 in charge of regulating broadcasting and telecommunication services in Thailand. But I would like to clarify about the broadcasting and telecommunication. Broadcasting under the regulatory umbrella of NBTC, it's include the television broadcasting in infrastructure, but telecommunication is just only assigned for IP address, not just content in the telecommunication, right? So I'm not believe that they are convergence regulatory body like we have seen FCC or Ofcom in UK, FCC in US. So it's not the same concept. Right now we have, I would like to express my opinion about that, that they're not convergence regulatory fully, but they kind of have some services right now that are not under the umbrella of them. So at that, in the paper, we talk about the digital TV transition that started in February 2012, and right now the digital TV switch on and analog fully switched off already. And the second one, we talk about new audio visual services like IPTV or internet protocol TV and mobile TV. Mobile TV, there are two types of mobile TV. The first one is cellular mobile TV, and the second one is broadcasting mobile TV and OTT TV. OTT is stand for over the top TV, right? Okay. In that paper, we talk about the blue one and the yellow one, that how can they interact, and also how can NBTC cover or regulate these two services. Before the digital switch over, on the left hand side, you can see that there are a few TV channels in Thailand. There are just only free TV, 6 channels, and the other 700 channels that are provided by cable, satellite. And in the group of the pay TV, there are just only a few kind of 32% that provide pay channel. Most of them are free channel. And TV penetration service at that time, it's about 98% TV set penetration in Thailand. So in 2014 or in 2014 to 2016, the TV service with television set can be a main consumption of Thai people. After that, digital TV in Thailand started to launch in 2014. They have 28 channels divided into 4 categories. The first one is public channel and kids and youth channel, news information channel, and general channel that provided in service high definition and standard definition. There are 28 channels, but right now digital TV in Thailand in 2020 and 21, some of them are ended their business and just only 18 channels in digital TV infrastructure. Most of them are kids and youth family. You can see that 3 channels from kids, youth, and family channels are ending their business, and news information channels from 7 channels, there are just only 2 left. And for SD, there are 2 channels that end their business. So right now we have only 18 channels left in digital TV infrastructure. I would like to say that why this happened. So because this is the coming of the Facebook, no, not just Facebook, but from social media and also the Netflix services. Because you can see that the Netflix are coming, came to Thailand, came to provide service in Thailand in 2017. So you can see the timeline, right? We conducted research in 2014 to 2016, and then Netflix come into service in Thailand in 2017. So the digital TV at that time have to compete with each other. There are 28 channels compete with each others. Also, they have a very kind of big company like Netflix and Facebook come into that time to compete with each other as well. So that's the problems of the broadcasting service provider. And for the number of Facebook users in Thailand, they start from 2017 as well. And they have increasing trends until now. Likewise, Netflix start in 2007 and they are increasing trend to right now, especially during COVID-19. The Netflix subscribers in Thailand are highly increased. So this is the major factors that I can call that OTT service like Netflix or Facebook are going to disrupt the broadcasting service in Thailand right now. I'm not sure how can 18 channels can survive, how many years they can survive, because there are the same amount of advertising budget from brand, from the commercials. They're the same amount of money, but they have several players in the market. In the market, not just only traditional TV, but we have the OTT service like Netflix and Facebook to share the advertising expense as well. So we are highly competitive status in Thailand in the in audio visual service market right now. That's the main problem that challenge for the regulation as well. So I will talk about the second paper that you can see more details on the OTT service, how they can disrupt the broadcasting television service. From the paper about OTT if you look at the content available on Netflix in Thailand, divided by country of origin, you can see that most of the content is from USA, and the other is not on top 10, which can be various country. And the second one, the third one is from India and South Korea, Japan, UK, and just only 4%, 4.14% is from Thailand. So it's a little amount of the local content that broadcasted on Netflix in Thailand right now. Most of them are USA. And you can see that if you compare the growth in traditional TV on the right-hand side with the OTT revenue in Thailand, they will see that they are slightly, not slightly, different for the broadcasting and in or television TV revenue. They're just only plus 4.76%. On the other hand, the OTT service that they have an increase plus 16 to 83%. So it's kind of a huge difference in the growth of the revenue. These stats can prove that they have a very high competitive in Thailand broadcasting. And for the players in OTT television landscape, okay, incumbent TV, it's around here, but some of them for the traditional TV jump into the OTT television service as well, like Channel 3 and Channel 7. It's Channel 7, they move into the OTT TV, and Channel 3, they move into OTT service provider as well. Not only the incumbent service, they have a very variety of the country jump into the Thailand to provide OTT like Netflix, iFlix, YouTube, View, VTV, and Live TV Prime. And also OTT by pay TV in Thailand is through ID. So we see that a variety of the company that come into service of the OTT TV in Thailand. But the major player is Netflix and YouTube. From the survey of this project, the most popular platform is YouTube, the Netflix, and Live TV. Most of the people watch this service through the mobile phone, and for the time they use in each day is about 1 to 3 hours per day in every day. So this is the kind of the consumption of the OTT TV service right now. And the content that is most popular is series and dramas. If you are encountered the people in Thailand, you have to talk with a series and drama from Netflix. There will be like the talk of the town, like Vincenzo, Casano, right? And many variety of the taxi driver, for example. And the country of origin of the content, the first one that they like is Thai and USA and Korea. What they watch in the OTT service, they like to watch TV rerun. It means that they would like to watch television in Thailand, but they watch on Netflix or on YouTube instead of the TV set, because we have not to kind of not linear service. You have to not have to follow their schedule, but we can watch it on your demand every time and everywhere. So that's the reason that they use the OTT service instead of broadcasting service to watch TV rerun. And they need to, Thai people need to watch original content on the OTT service. And the licensed movie that they cannot go to the theater, and also they have not to wait for the free TV to provide them the movie. But if they would like to watch it, you can do it, watch it on Netflix or YouTube. So for the challenges in the regulation, the evidence from the research 2016, they said that the NBTC, the regulatory, prioritized digital TV development and did not focus on any other innovative audiovisual media. Even though they are increasing Thailand audience adopting cross-platform video consumption, that's the evidence from that time. They focus on digital TV service and they want to make it accomplished in a digital TV switch over. So IPTV, OTT, and mobile TV, they are not interested in this kind of business to regulate. So I think it's the evidence that why we cannot have improvement in the regulatory regime for the OTT service right now. And the second point is that despite of the increasing popular in multi-screen TV or multi-screen video consumption, the NBTC has not made any specific licensing scheme and content regulations for new TV-like service such as mobile TV, IPTV, and OTT TV at all. So I think at that time they just only focus on digital TV. For 4 years later, they're just seeing the increasing popularity, so they want to regulate, but it's too late. Why it's too late? Because the law in Thailand, they are kind of silo. You can watch it in a red box and the black box. The red box is the channels on traditional TV in broadcasting service infrastructures like that I have mentioned earlier about the channel 3, channel 7, and they have a news channel for families and children. That's all in the red box. And the black box is the box for the telecommunication service and internet that provided over-the-top TV service like YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, and True ID. How different about the red box and the black box? I would say that the red box are highly regulated by NBTC because there are 2 or 3 laws to regulate these kind of service. On the other hand, in the black box, there's just only one law about the computer crime. Not just content, because when we say about content regulation, we need to protection of the children from the sex violence, and also about the local content quota, something like that. But in the law about the computer crime in Thailand, they just only about the focus on false information and defamation. So the computer crime is not suitable for regulate content on internet. But we have not a specific law to regulate content on internet. So that's why the internet or the OTT service are the kind of have the freedom of expression and also the freedom of services. The service on that have not to be regulated by Thai regulator. But if you have you are defame defame others or have put into the system like pornographic or false information, you will be sued by the law, the computer crime law, but not content law as the red box that have to encounter these variety of the law that regulate them. So in conclusion, I would like to conclude that the service in red box are highly regulated by the NBTC. On the other hand, the service on the black box they have not to responsible for law regarding content moderation or content regulation. So that's the big scenario for the broadcaster, and they have a high difference in kind of how to make it balance between one who have to have a burden, regulatory burden, and the other one that we have not to be responsible for anyone, for any law. And one more problems about Thailand regulatory regime and regulatory challenges is that when we talk about the audio-visual service in internet or in new media, then not just only NBTC who are responsible for, but there are a variety of agencies, state agency related to these problems, relating to this issue. The first one is the Digital and Economy Minister, and this one is about the FDA in Thailand and the Consumer Protection Committees as well. These are state agencies are responsible for online service or audio-visual service online, but in fact, they are doing their own job, but not collaborative or not integrated in their working. So it's not like the concept of convergence that the technology, the content converge each other, but the regulators are not converging at all in my opinion. For 2020, it's too late for them to regulate OTT because the OTT service right now, they are transnational and trans-jurisdictional character, and Thailand have very low bargaining power. So when we ask them to be under the umbrella of the law in Thailand, they are neglect. They don't care why they have to come to the under the umbrella of Thai law, because we have no bargaining power at all, like Netflix and YouTube. And how can we create effective regulatory framework? In Lin and Oranop 2016 said that in response to rapid technological advancement and strong competition among audiovisual media, this sentence, I think that it's still true in 2020. We suggest that it is crucial to apply a holistic regulatory scheme. So the holistic regulatory scheme we have talked later to oversee various cross-platform video service. Similar to Ramasutra et al. 2020, that they suggest a reward-based scheme and light-touch regulatory approach instead of very hard regulatory approach for them. Like this, maybe we can look into this table. I'm not sure that all of you read the paper that Andrew sent to you or not. Some of them may.
Andrew.
Yes.
Have you sent or uploaded to the Moodle?
Which one? For the paper?
Yes, the paper
yes,
that I sent you this morning.
It's already on Moodle.
So I think I will pause a little bit that to talk with all of you about this framework that in the paper proposed for the holistic scheme, holistic regulatory scheme to regulate the OTT on the audiovisual services in the digital era. They are divided into to 4 types. The first one is they divide by gatekeeping and participatory mechanism. So I'm not sure that you are understand this framework or not. Maybe can you anyone can explain or I mean, for us that to make sure that you understand about this framework.
Maybe
You can,
let me refresh the memory.
Yeah.
This scheme actually also I have I think I shared with my class before, and also looking at the Singapore's the multi-screen TV scheme. So I looking at the gatekeeping mechanism, participatory mechanism, which is the content model, and then also how much the social cultural impact in terms of broadcasting or the niche market. I have explained the 4 different types to the only 6 students in my class. So maybe they will know better. I'm not sure about the Asian new media. I did not really explain that, and the Philippine student may not. It will be the first time exposure. So anyone want to try from the IMS class? If you still remember.
The volunteer from the class.
Rona, you have studied the OTT, right? You want to try?
Yes. You mean explain the 4 types?
Yeah.
Yeah, based on what actually the framework I explained to you, but now right now the content is about Thailand's content, right? How to put into the 4 types.
Based on my memory, I think type 1 is the most traditional cable service, relate to most traditional, because it's a mass broadcasting rather than through internet, which is more person to person, and so it needs more stricter regulation in terms of content. And the type 2 is the kind of like a OTT or VODs. It's more for a niche market, although I think right now it's probably a bit more widespread than at first, but it's compared to the mass through cable, I think it's still it's more niche because people access to them based on subscription. And then so the regulation do not have to be as strict as the previous one. And I'm not really sure about type 3 and type 4. I think they are a little bit overlapping.
Yeah.
Anyone want to try? Okay, maybe I can help. Oh, okay. Roma want to answer. There's someone raised their hand.
Hello, I am Makon. So I think I can explain type 3 and type 4 since I've encountered this. Basically, participatory mechanism refers to parang us media consumers being prosumers or being both producers and consumers of media. So on type 3, so this is stricter than type 4 in a sense that it includes subscription TV code like iMobile. Basically, when you plug in, let's say, an external device to your phones in order to watch media content or media products. So basically, it requires less regulation, since unlike gatekeeping mechanisms, they are the ones who sets the agenda and frames news. While type 4 or the self-regulation is more anchored on, let's say, YouTube content producers, because they are the one regulating themselves. There is no one regulating them, unlike, let's compare it to actors on TV. They have managers. When we talk about self-regulation, it's you who manages you. So basically that's it. And the best example that comes to mind are YouTube vloggers, since they are self-regulating. So as this is the case, they require the least regulation, since there are a lot of factors that is considered, let's say cultural differences. So you can't regulate them much, since it is transnational rather than concentrated on national itself. Those are my thoughts.
Wow, great. I'm not, you are a good memory students to remember all of the details of these 4 types. At that time, the broadcasters or broadcasting TV content in Thailand, they have to fall into this type 1 regulation, because they have a gatekeeping mechanism, and also they are broadcasted to mass market. And for the subscription TV, right, at that time, there are very few OTT service. The Netflix are not coming yet, so we propose to have a type 2 regulation for the gatekeeping mechanism and VOD. But the service in the type 3, which has the broadcasting nature with the participatory mechanism in Thailand right now, we have not seen this kind of service at all. But the fourth one is have a high increasing enough service that very niche market and have a prosumer, like the students have mentioned about the prosumers, that there are many influencers and YouTubers are work on these platforms and make their content into a niche market. So there are a very high demand and supply in this market. So I'm not sure that right now they have the slight or co-regulation of content or not, because we have just only YouTube standards or the social media standards, but the law or the regulatory they have not covered this kind of service. And light touch licensing, no, we have no light touch licensing right now. So that's this framework. I think we have to reconsider this type, reconsider the regulatory recommendations from this type of framework for the four kind of framework. In addition, the regulator as well as related authorities and policymakers not just only put the law into the implementation, but we have to consider the capacity building and also promotional measures for local operators and local content players, because we have to encounter with the post-broadcasting world, because we cannot divide it all about the broadcasting or not broadcasting. Like the students said that right now VOD and niche market are not niche at all, but they are spreading wider than before. So in the post-broadcasting world, the policymakers have not to address about the capacity building and promotional measures for the operator to make them can compete with the company from transnational, and make them cooperate with the transnational, not just to compete it. And it's the second part that I need to talk about the audiovisual service media, and also about the regulatory challenges during difference between 2016 and 2020. I will break this session, and if you have any question on this topic, you can ask me, because after that I will follow by the new media cultural impact in Thailand. You have time, like if you have any question, maybe you can put into the chat box. If you would like to talk with me, you can.
I want to raise a question.
Yeah.
Because you just mentioned that Netflix and the live TV basically are quite popular, right? OTT in your country. So how much homegrown OTT do you have that kind of Thailand branding? No.
Oh, it just you have the incumbent broadcasters that run into the OTT like Channel 3 and Channel 7. Like they have the web-based application like Channel 3 Plus and Bugaboo TV, but they are not popular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me share Taiwan situation. We roughly when I presented the 2019 conference paper at PTC Hawaii, there will be like a 13 OTT or more than that in Taiwan. In addition to the Netflix, iQIYI, which is the China's branding, and we also have a lot of homegrown. And we have Li TV, Live TV, and we also have some like broadcasting, LED TV. They probably have different names, not the same as the channel, and also have the telecos. They will be interested, we have Taiwan Da Ge Da that have the My Video. So they have different backgrounds, and then they all want to be part of the OTT because they see the future. However, because we have a very small market and have so many different branding, it's very difficult for them to actually survive based on the subscription fee. So that's the situation. And then we also, I think at that time, our NCC is similar to the NTBC, that we are more convergent regulator because right now we have one. They try to actually have the OTT Act to regulate, but they have some problems. First of all, they have some stricter regulation because they notice there are a lot of influence from China branding because we are using the same language. So that would be something they first actually strictly regulate and want them to retreat from our market. So they will claim they need to protect Taiwan's branding, but they have no way to actually require the so-called Netflix, the international branding at YouTube. They have no other ways actually to regulate them. It's similar to Thailand. And they also have the piracy problem because lots of content will be stolen. And then we have very interesting branding. I don't know whether you hear about it. It's Gaga Ulala, which is the LGBT special TV channel in Asia. They collaborated with Philippines and also with Thailand. So they have different Vietnam, have different productions. So it's an international brands, homegrown from Taiwan. So I just want to share with you, we have this very different context, lots of competition, but we also suffer from the regulation as you experience.
Yeah. Because there are no promote from the policy as well that have to, if you want to organize some kind of OTT service in our platform, we have a huge amount of money, but there is no promote from the policy side. That's very difficult for the commercial only to run this.
And then we sort of, our government would like to encourage our OTT to be a national team, but so many brands, and then it's difficult to have a national team.
Yes.
But the niche one, I think the LGBT TV could be something actually now spreading out in even South America or different kind of countries. So maybe they have a chance because it's different.
Is there anyone want to join discussing or sharing your information from your side about the changing media ecosystem and looking from Thailand? How about your country, or you have question on it? Any session?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah. Hi. Here, can see me?
Yes.
Okay. I come from China, so I have a question about my country. Thank you for your sharing. It's impressive, and I just want to know the connection between Thailand and China. such as, is it TikTok popular in Thailand, or how about the use? No, how about the apps used in Thailand? Is it TikTok popular between the youngers?
Yeah, the TikTok, it's
how about the development of the short video? Yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, I've seen the statistic, but I've not bring it into the slide. But I've seen the increasing trend in TikTok just only 1 year after the COVID. I mean, last year when we encountered COVID-19, the TikTok service are at a high rate, higher than Facebook and YouTube. That's for the first time, TikTok. Yeah, but right now they are like at a second or third rank something. But it's more focused on the young generation, as you mentioned. Because work, the people Generation X and the elderly people may not acquainted with the TikTok services.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so after we have seen some aspect of the development in new media and also new audio-visual media service in Thailand, right now we have to talk about, we need to talk about the impact, especially in the cultural impact in Thailand. We have encountered many cultural impacts from the media since many years, since hundreds years ago, but when new media comes, I think the impact is more variety and also more impactful than ever before. The two main problems that right now in Thailand they are prioritized to be searching for solutions. All policies, agencies like NBTC and also the Thai Media Fund, they have funding for the solution to tackle with these two problems. The first one is fake news, and the second one is hate speech, or in other terms that you have heard about cyberbullying. These kind of problems are very concerning in Thailand right now, especially in people who are in online platform. So I will present to you from my own research that I have conducted last 2 years about the online hate speech. Actually, I conducted a research on broadcasting and online hate speech before in 2016 or 17 something. I also have noticed increasing online hate speech. So we have be interested in the situation right now, that how the online hate speech spread into our country. So we selected the situation about the Islamic and Buddhism people who have using online platform when they through their in their community, and also how can they interact with each other for these two communities, and is there any online hate speech or not. So in these studies, I divided the hate speech operational definition into 4 intensity. So the first level is they have kind of intense dislike or us and them discrimination, stereotyping. The second step is more severe intensity. It's blaming, condemning, and dehumanization. And the third level, speech that deny of living together. And the fourth one, which is called danger speech, or the speech that we cannot accept because they are not free speech at all. It's deliberated incitement of discriminatory violence. It means that they incited to hatred and also bring into the actual violence into the actual world. So in this research, we divided into 4 levels of hate speech, and the research findings is that most of the online speech that Islamic and Buddhism community talk with each other and also talk within their communities. Most of them are most of online hate speech on the event relating to the Buddhist and Muslim relation. It's around the first and the second level of hate speech intensity, which is intense dislike, us and them discrimination, stereotyping, blaming, condemning, and dehumanization. But there are just only a few that they are incite to violence. It occurs after the events relating to physical violence, such as one day killing the people. Some people killed the monks in the southern province of Thailand called Narathiwat province, and also the event that the Christchurch mosque shootings. After these physical violence happened, then the online user will comment harshly and incite to actual violence in their online community. So that's just only a few that they have a high intensity in hate speech. But most of them are just only the first level and the second level. The findings are from this research. It means that there are a long history of the conflict between Islamic and Buddhist in Thailand, in the southern part of Thailand. The people in, Asra from Malaysia can understand this point because we have a long history of that. But right now they move the conflicts into the online sphere. So, but if we have not the actual evidence, the actual events that have a physical violence, they're not bring into the hate speech that bring into the dangerous speech with discriminate and sparking violence. But just into the first and the second rank of the hate speech intensity. And for during COVID-19, you see that the hate speech are increasing in the vulnerable communities that we are studies on during the last year, January to February. There are many people that have fear, anger, and humiliation. So that's why all of these feelings leads to anxiety. These anxiety leading to the hatred speech. If you anxious about the COVID-19 and the people who got COVID-19 affected come into around your area, you may feel fear or anger or anxious about them and have capability to communicate with hatred as well. So this hate speech scenario are increasing during the COVID-19. For example, in Jan to February last year, I noticed that the Chinese tourists Thai people are unwillingness to accept Chinese customer because at that time Chinese people are blamed to be like the origin of the COVID-19. Like the ex-president of USA said the Chinese virus, and also the misinformation or fake news about COVID-19 in the south of Thailand due to Chinese tourist virus spreader in the north of Thailand and also in the south of Thailand, that Chinese tourists are unwillingness to be welcome. That's the situation at the time. And also this one is one situation that the people who are affected by the COVID-19 return to their home, and the people in their community come out and said, no, we have to chase them out. And if this clinic has proper preventive measure, they're curious to know more, and they not allow the patients to return to their home. So the patient need to come back to the clinic or to the hospital. They are kind of very angry. The community are not accepted them. That it's quite very bad for them. And for the comment in the Facebook about this news, I have clawed this information from Facebook comments, and then I identify them, the sentiment, the feelings of the comments. It's found out that the negative comments or negative feelings are not towards the patients, but they are directed to the communities, because social media users were angry at the people in the community instead of the patients, but feel sympathize for the infected patients, and most of the comments are negative expression. It means that when we see people are produce hate speech in the news, but in the online, maybe maybe they have a contrary reaction about this event as well. And the last one is about the Thai returnees refuse state quarantine, because they have some group of people that come back to Thailand from Korea. A lot of people at that time come back to Thailand, but they refuse to stay quarantine. Actually, they're not just not refused, but they have a miscommunication between authorities and the people who have returned to Thailand. So they understand that they have not to quarantine and they go home. But the people in social media are a burst of anger and have many measures to find out who are they, and you see that this information is the personal information. The first column is name, full name, surname, and this is the passport number, and this is the address, full address. So they are kind of witching hunt and find out any personal information and spread it in the social media to have social sanction on these people, that why they don't quarantine at that time. So this anger, this fear bring all of us into the hatred communications, and also do the harsh social sanction without any legislative authority. So this the situation during COVID-19, so as well as vulnerable group of people who are homeless. Prior to COVID-19, they are stereotyped, but during COVID-19, the homeless people have encountered both economic and societal problems as well. So to contradict portray in media arouse fears, because they are stereotyped that you are dirty, you are poor, you have indiscipline. So when some people in a homeless people group got virus or got infected COVID-19, they will be blamed that because of yourself, because of you, that you are not disciplined and you are poor. So that's the other group of people that are affected by the stereotyping before the COVID-19, but it will blown out during COVID-19, but that the problems comes out. So the COVID, for me, it's a taste of for humanity, because we encounter all of the fears and anger, but I think digital empathy is essential in response to hatred driven by anxiety and conflicts. These are the first problems that we can see from the online sphere, especially in Thailand during COVID-19. The other one is fake news, the global problems for Thailand as well. From the survey about the opinion on fake news and the facts on fake news, it found out that more than half of them from Facebook platform, and the other one from the chatting, like interpersonal, and from chatting in line. So that's the source of the fake news in Thailand. And the start of the fake news sharing or spreading, the topic that more spreading is about politics. The second one is about the products, like especially the product about your health, like food supplementary food. Yeah, that have a spreading fake news especially during the COVID-19. And the start from the COVID-19, during the COVID-19, that how many news that's spreading about the COVID-19 is about 35 millions messages regarding COVID-19. From this amount of the message, 70% of them it's fake news. So you see that during COVID-19, they just not only spark the hatred or spark anger, but they also the booster or the catalyst of the fake news spreading as well in Thailand too. And right now we have to find solutions in our country. We have a model from Taiwan as well. You have known Dr. Ang Trey or Day Tang. He comes to Thailand and help us to organize the COFACT Thailand COFACT website. It's a collaborative checking. So this model is adopted in Thailand in the name of COFACT Thailand, and where there are any other agency that try to organize or initiate the collaborative checking platform, like the digital media minister themselves. They have an anti-fake news center, and this one is Sure Before Share center at MCOT or the broadcaster, one of the broadcaster. They try to organize this kind of collaborative checking. Right now we have many organizations that would like to make a media innovation to create the collaborative checking for stop the fake news problems. And the one that NIDA at my institution do is the fact-checking intelligence platform. In this platform, you will, if you see a piece of news and you are curious, is this a fake or is it truth or is it a fact? So you can copy and paste into this platform, and after that, they will show you. I will show you the. And this platform is based on AI. So if I need into this platform and put the information, which one is fake and which one is fact. So I will show you the situation. Sorry. Okay, this is the first page. So when you read a piece of news or a piece of articles that you are curious to know with this is fake or fact, you can copy this and put it into this one and copy the content like this. Oops. Yes. Okay. And place it. And then searching. After that, they will processing and analyze that these piece of news are fake or not. So you can see that the green level, it means that you have not to worry that this is fake or not, because they have they fit the criteria of the not the fact checking checklist. For example, the first one is the journalistic styles. It means that they analyze the article that they have a journalistic standards or not, or the typo or misspelling. If the in the article have misspell or a typo, it's probably fake than fact. Or if the piece of articles have the false information about health problems, about health suggestion, they will probably be fake more than fact. But for these articles, they show them green, so they're just only a quality, an index of the fake news in a very little amount. So that's why we show green. But if another piece of article show in red circle, it means that they probably be fake. So to be aware, to aware you, or to make you under awareness that the piece of the article that you read are fake more than fact. That's the problems, and the solution that we are going to find out more innovative media for encounter or to tackle with fake news problems in Thailand. So I would like you to share a little bit about the online cultural impact for new media in your country, and also is this similar or different from Thailand in case of the hate speech and fake news? So could you kindly share with me if you have some points to share? Yeah.
Or you can express your views about the fake news, the fact chat, or during the COVID-19 and how the personal information or humanity issues, people being treated. These topics related to Dr. Sarah just shared. Maybe you can talk about, like Lucas can share something in Europe, Germany.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
About hate speech or fact chat or COVID-19 issue.
Yeah, about fake speech, I think we have talked about it in an earlier lecture, but I can also repeat that. So what we had was Reconquista Internet. I shared that with the class, which was really interesting because there was a movement of far-right activists in Germany, which spammed like Facebook and other internet medias, especially in the comments, and tried to change the discussion. And this was a very organized group in Telegram and so on. And a very famous TV late night moderator, he actually initiated an initiative and counter movement against this, which he called Reconquista Internet, where everyone was supposed to counteract against this fake news and yeah, actively participate in those discussions. And this was really big here in Germany and quite interesting, and one of the biggest fake news related movements, I think.
Have you finished your sharing?
Yes, I'm finished.
Okay. Yeah, because in Germany, they have a long history of hate speech since Nazi, right? So it is a case study that is very classic for us to study as well. And have you mentioned about counter, right? Counter hate speech, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because they have a group of people that is, including my colleagues, try to study about that as well, about how they can counter with that hate speech without hate. So it's quite difficult, but it is necessary for our society that we have to counter the hate without hate. That's very interesting. There are a group of people in Europe as well. They call counter speech project. You can search for more information about that.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I have one question about you just shared. You said 25 million COVID-19 content. So basically, what kind of content you are talking about? Are they cross-platform, including online news, social medias? So what actually are the content? And then you said 70% fake news about the COVID-19 among the 35 million. So how we actually have sometimes in Taiwan's context, it's a bit difficult to actually, if looking at social media, to identify whether it's fake news or not, because Twitter, like a Twitter bots or Twitter, can have an effective way to find out. So I will be interested in Thailand's case. You also mentioned about COFAC. Is that a COFAC in Taiwan? COFAC app to help to install in Thailand. So I want to know more about your situation. How rampant of the fake news? How difficult to identify the fake news? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it is very difficult to verify that it is fake news or not. But the stat that I show you is from the Ministry of Digital and Economics in Thailand. So it's called DE, a Ministry of DE. So they set up the anti-fake news center, and they collect by themselves from a piece of news, and then verify by themselves by their guideline that is fake or not. And also they have a platform that we can send them if we are curious that this is fake, we can send to them and then you check, and they collect all information. And so that's why they can count on 15 million message and divide it into fake news or not fake. Yeah, it's just only from one source of agency. But for COFAC is not to verify it, but need the people to add any information or any facts into the platform. Yeah, COFAC Thailand is founded accordingly to COFAC in Taiwan. So it's the same model, but I'm not sure the progress of the COFAC Thailand, that is progress similar to the COFAC Taiwan or not. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you studied about COFAC in Taiwan, right?
I have some understanding about Taiwan's fact chat. So we have a Taiwan fact chat center has been established as an international, they have a recognized institute. And COFAC actually is built by GovZero, which is some like the civic groups, right? The IT persons. They developed that because they actually noticed from the 2018 the mayor elections and some referendums issues, they are polarized like the same-sex marriage or the nuclear energy. So lots of people just spread different kinds of message within Line. So Line is the close, very close
Yeah,
message.
core system.
Yeah, so CoFed is one of the app has been established by, developed by the Ground Zero to put into the Line group. But we also have other like a Meiyuyi or other types of, app that people can install and then see whether to verify or not. And during COVID-19, I think in addition to the fact check center and all the apps or the IT person's help, I think we also have a very, like now, we have the third level alert, right? I think that's also quite effective way that we have two live broadcasting. Now, it's like from YouTube, starting from our CDC, they will have 2 sessions of the conferencing, press conference every day. So everyone can just go online and watch whatever the government officers or health professionals they have, directly addressed to everyone, like the journalists. So we can hear. And also I have an app. It's called 易管家, which is a housekeeper for COVID-19 or something like that. And then so I can put. Actually, I install in my Line, and every day they will remind me that is a press conference, and they will have the infographics talking about how many deaths, or how many people get infected, and there are some like fake news, and people never believe it. So I think that's the government actually learned, and so it's like a private and the public and also governments, they collaborate a model and to try to avoid some misunderstanding or some information that people get panicking because of the not transparency or not immediacy clarifies.
Yeah, the transparency that you mentioned is very important, especially right now we have encountered problems of vaccine information about the vaccine information in Thailand. They have fake news about the vaccine every day, and especially in line application that there's a closed system, so they are not fake news a fact-checking system that integrated with Line application right now in Thailand. They're just a separate one. I mean, CoFact is a separate web service, and the one that I show you is a separate web. So, but most people use Line in chatting and also consume their news and information. So we have a room for improvement a lot.
Yeah. So how about students from other countries would like to share any of the related topic that Dr. Sarah just share with us? Oh, there's someone raised a hand. Wang, is that Esther?
Oh yeah, it's me.
Okay.
Hi, Dr. Sarah. I think I would like to respond about the impact of the new media to the culture. In my opinion, I think that the nature of media is freedom, right, and inclusiveness. And I think as well as the lack of the regulations on the internet had provided the netizens with a high degree of freedom of speech and initiative. So people can speak freely online, and which has led to the cyberbullying and hate speech that Professor mentioned previously. And this makes me thought about another negative impact about cancel culture. I don't know if, I think cancel culture refers to the idea of canceling someone with a familiar pattern, and normally cancel the celebrity or other public figures that do something or say something offensive online. So in my opinion, I think that cancel culture is quite terrible because from the point of the netizen, they think that apologies is not enough for them. They think that there is a need to cancel everything from the celebrity or the public figures. So in a very short period of time, when the cancel culture started, probably the celebrity would lose or lost everything in one day just because of the cancel culture that affected them. So I would think that is it cancel culture is an important tool of social justice, or it is just a new form of merciless mob intimidation? Yeah, that's my respondent. Thank you.
Interesting about the cancel culture, because we have problems in Thailand as well about the cancel culture. At first, we think that it's a freedom of us to criticize and also make some kind of comments and have to decide what you want. It's a kind of citizenship of people, or digital citizenship. We can choose and we can criticize. But cancel culture is more than that, I think, for me, because one of the case in Thailand, one celebrity, he's got COVID-19. So after that, they are not. He's not coming out at the screen at all. So they are boycott, something like that, no, because of the COVID-19. And also it's more complicated because in Thailand they have a polarization of the political ideologies. So it's very complicated for the political ideology and vaccine and COVID-19. So the cancel culture are coming to the normalize. That's very terrible. Yeah.
So how many percentage of the vaccination that you have in Thailand right now?
Oh, they have not shown percentage. It's only tell us that 3.5 million doses, something like that.
Oh, that's a lot. Less than 1 million. Very few.
But not compare in percentage from the whole country. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you got vaccinated?
No, because before live, I think 3 weeks ago, everything seems very normal. It's like we only wear mask when it's necessary, not really compulsory. We feel like everything is like back to normal, and suddenly, that's like community infections and now accumulated from 2000 in total for the past maybe I don't know one and more than 1 year, and now raised up to 8,000, but still in total 8,000, not per day, but 8,000 in total. So everyone feel very worried. So we work from home, and we see the need and the urgency to get vaccination. But before that, we only got the dose, which is like AZ, AZ.
AstraZeneca.
But people feel maybe there's a side effect and not necessary to get any infection. If maybe you get a vaccination, it will be even worse. So, but now only people who like nurses and then who actually work in the hospital or frontline, they can get the first priority to get the injection or protection. So no, not yet. I don't think I check my priority that I'm the maybe 9th or 10th priority. So it will be a long time to wait.
But people in academics have a prioritize at the top 10 rank. Yeah.
Like police, hospital people, or the people who work in the airports, or even people who do the garbage cleaning, recycling. So these actually will have to face the more.
Yeah, they are more risky than us.
Yeah, and the people who actually hold a high position.
Yeah. I have no comment about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we are like 4 o'clock. So would you like to wrap up, or is there anything, have any urgent short questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
do you want
do
that
you
conclusion?
feel like May I ask all of you by you can answer by chatting. You think that the situation in Thailand is similar to your country? Similar or different? Just the short answer. Could you please
which aspect? I mean,
have that?
It's about OTT or it's about fake news or it's about any specific aspect you want
Okay.
us to
The first question is about OTT and the television service in your country and in Thailand. Do you think it is different or similar? Could you please type your question, your answer in the chat box?
Do they need to provide reasons or just similar or not similar?
Mm-hmm. Lucas from Germany say different because you're from Europe. In Europe, countries are quite different from Asia.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for your answers. And the second question is about the situation in the hate speech and fake news, especially during COVID-19. Do you see this is similar or not similar to your country? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Because Lucas say similar. Can Lucas, can you explain more a little bit about what in what
Yeah, I
aspect?
think the vaccination fake news movement is very similar across the world. I mean, what I've heard so far also from other countries like in the US, in my opinion, it's just the same.
Yeah, interesting. Yes, so thank you for your feedback on these two questions. And I think my talk will be beneficial for you in some aspect for your learning and also your research. So if you have any question or you want me to send you any information about Thailand, if you would like to study more in depth for Thailand media ecosystem, so you can email me. I will type into this chat box for you. Yeah, and thank you, Professor Trisha, for inviting me to the class. Very impressive with it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarah. Thank you, because we only have 2 hours, but you gave us so much. Yeah, in the very beginning, give us an overview about how the TV landscape and the new media development in Thailand, and then follow up by OTT, 2 papers, 2 research, and the schemes looking at the situation and regulatory challenges, and also have another sections cater for the fake news hate speech during COVID-19, that your latest research. I think that's so rich, and then cover lots of different aspects, but with steps. Thank you so much for your generous sharing, and wish you all the best and keep you safe and happy and healthy, and everyone in the class also. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadika. And then take care. All the best. We'll see you next. See my class next week, and then see Sarah in future. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.